Hello, welcome to the 3D market commentary for today, Thursday, May the 12th, 2022. The disclaimers are up there on the top left-hand side of the screen, so please read them, even if you need to pause the video to do so. Now, before we go into what the 3D market commentary is, for those that don't know, just to point out different places you can go if you need help and support. So, different email addresses down here. Becky@tradewithufos.com and support@tradewithufos.com. The different email addresses there. There's also this link here, tradewithufos.com/Becky. Now that will bring you to this page, and from here you can book one-on-one coaching if you'd like. You can join our group coaching program. You have courses and apps that you can get, so different resources there. This will soon to be filled out, but you can also track my live trades that I place in the sessions. You can also scroll down to a question and answer section as well, where you can ask a question if you'd like, or you may find the answer to your question is already here with somebody else's previously asked question. So lots of resources, lots of support, most of which from this link, which is tradewithufos.com/Becky. So the 3D market commentary, let's bring that up. So every day, Monday to Friday, we send out an email, looks like this, to our free members. I'm just going to give it a little bit more room. And in that email, we have information on major world markets, essentially looking at the statistics, the probabilities of what's more likely to happen in those markets. We get that information from a technology that we use. So we've got the charts on the right-hand side with the technology in place, and we've got the market commentary on the left-hand side. So I will walk us through and go through each of the major markets that we look at and show you where those statistics are coming from. So the three elements that we look at, this is why we call it a 3B market commentary. First things first, market climate. Now the market climate essentially means what's the likely upcoming market direction? Where is it more likely to go? Up, down, or nowhere? We figure that out by using an app, piece of technology called AutoClimate, which is a free app on most platforms that you can get it on. Now, AutoClimate shows us with these dots, whether it be thick red, thick blue, or a thin dot of either colour, those dots are showing us where the probabilities lie. Ignore the lines, focus on the dots. I will show you as we go through what each of them means. Then we look at buy and sell UFOs. UFO in this case stands for unfilled order. Now, unfilled orders mean where do we have buyers that are waiting to buy and where do we have sellers that are waiting to sell? That's relevant because buyers are likely to push price up, sellers are likely to push price down, so it gives an idea of likely turning points in price. So again, we use an app to help us. In this case, it's called Auto UFOs, and we look for little green UFOs with the prices on the right-hand side. Those show us where the buyers are, where price is likely to move up from. Then we see the little red UFOs with the prices on the right-hand side. Those show us where the sellers are, where price is likely to move down from. So we'll look at that per market as well. And then we will look at market volatility, which is essentially how quickly we expect these markets to move. So we'll look at each of those elements per market, starting with the S&P 500, which is what we have here, the top 500 US stocks. Now, we are looking at a daily chart or a daily time frame for each of these markets. Different things happen on different time frames. The statistics and probabilities will be different on different time frames. What we're looking at here is relevant to a daily time frame. Okay, so we have for the S&P 500 a thick red dot on our AutoClimate. That tells us probability is to the downside, likely market direction to the downside. And we have sellers up here. Those are between 4153.25 to 4062. They've already worked to push price down. Price came up, just hit them, just hit the sellers here, and was moved back down from that area. That's why we want to know where sellers are to give us an idea of where we should be selling to. We then have buyers further down here between 34.80 to 33.19, so quite a way to go before we hit them. Overall, probability to the downside here with the S&P for the time being. In terms of volatility, we'd expect movement up or down in 1 year of 34.32%. So in a day, 84.36 points. In a week, 185.71 points. In a month, 386.58 points. So that's the S&P 500. Okay, moving on to the next market, which is crude oil. Now, before we do that, whilst crude is loading, just to point your attention here to the different courses and the different ways you can educate yourself with us. If you need help in understanding futures, stocks, forex, backtesting, trading plans, or psychology, we have courses that help. Now, most of the courses come with a 3-month complimentary access to the apps that we use. Now, AutoClimate, which is this app here, that's a free app on most platforms that you can use it on anyway. Auto UFOs, however, which is this one that shows us the buyers and sellers, Auto UFOs are a paid for monthly subscription. It depends on which platform you use as to how much that is. Now, you can subscribe directly to the Auto UFOs. You don't have to get a course in order to use them. You can just subscribe to the apps themselves and just use them. However, most of the time, it's cheaper to get a course and get free access to the apps for 3 months than it would be to just use the apps for 3 months. So check that out, see what works out better for you. So coming back here to crude oil, we have a thin dot with crude oil. A thin dot on AutoClimate tells us there's not enough probability either way. Doesn't matter what the color of the dot is. It's thin, not enough probability. That means we don't do anything. We don't trade something if we don't have clear probabilities one way or the other. Now, we do have sellers very close by between 111.37 to 106.45. So they could push price down very soon. For the time being, though, we do nothing. We have buyers here between 80.47 to 77.83. So quite a way to go before we hit buyers. Sellers very close. So if I were to call it, I would say probably very soon we'll see move to the downside. But for the time being, we don't have enough probabilities to the downside. So we leave it and we see what happens. With volatility, we would expect movement up or down in 1 year on oil of 53.43%. So in a day, 3.5 points. In a week, 7.7 points. And in a month, 16.02 points. So that's on oil. Okay, the next market is gold. So let's load this. Now again, just to highlight here, let's squish this so we can see what we need to see. Just to highlight down here quickly about the coaching and support that we offer. We do a lot of coaching and support for free. You can find things on our website, on that link that I showed you at the start. There are videos on YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook. All of that's out there for free for you to use. We also have a closed coaching community, which gives you access to live trading videos and extra resources. So you can check that out as well if you'd like. So gold, thick red dot, probability downwards. Now, something to bear in mind is that we have been going down for longer than we usually would do. So we'd usually go down for about 6 candles, for about 6 days. And we've currently been going down for 17 days. So quite a way out of what is normal. That's not to say that we don't still have probability down. We do. Just bear in mind it's a little bit overextended. Now, something that might change this very soon are the buyers that we seem to be moving towards. Those buyers are between 1815.8 to 1788.5. So if price were to hit these buyers, we would expect them to push price back up again. So we'll see once it gets down there, but for the time being, probability to the downside in gold. Now, in terms of volatility, we expect movement up or down in 1 year of 20.26%. So in a day, 23.59 points. In a week, 51.93 points. And in a month, 108.09 points. So that's gold. Okay. The next market is the US dollar. So let's load this. Okay, so the US dollar has a thick blue dot, probability to the upside. Now, We don't have any sellers in the way, so in theory it has a clear run to the upside. We do have buyers, but they're quite far away now. They are between 100.675 to 99.81. Overall, probability up, but it's unlikely that these buyers are going to have anything to do with that. So probability to the upside coming from the climate here. In terms of volatility on the US dollar, we would expect movement up or down in 1 year of 9.61%. So in a day, 0.63 points, in a week, 1.39 points, in a month, 2.9 points. That's the US dollar. Now, last but not least is bakkt Bitcoin. So let's load this and squish it down so we see what's going on. So just to highlight here before we go into bakkt Bitcoin about our proprietary platform. It's called TOP, stands for Predictive Options Planner. Now I know it has options in the name, and if you're an options trader, it is especially useful because of the exclusive apps just for options trading. However, you can use it to analyze Forex, futures, and stocks as well. I personally use it for stocks and Forex. So check that out and see how that might work for you. Again, it's got all of our apps integrated in it. So now let's look at bakkt Bitcoin. We have a thick red dot, probability to the downside. Now, not surprising, we've seen it drop quite a lot recently. It's actually burst through some buyers that we had earlier on in the week, so it's really quite heavy to the downside in terms of the probability. We have sellers here between 32,460 to 29,992.5. We have buyers down here at 23,737.5 to 22,910. So if price were to get down to these buyers, we'd expect them to give at least a small movement or a small push to the upside. But for the time being, probability down here for Bitcoin. In terms of volatility with Bitcoin, we'd expect movement up or down in 1 year of 115.55%. Now, that means a movement up or down in 1 day of 2,011 points, in a week 4,427 points, and in a month 9,215.54 points. So that is bakkt Bitcoin. We've now looked at all 5 of our major markets that we look at in this session. We've looked at 3 major elements for each. We looked at market climate, using AutoClimate to figure out where the probabilities lie, up, down, or nowhere. We've looked at buy and sell UFOs, finding buyers that could push price up, finding sellers that could push price down. And we've looked at volatility, understanding how far we expect these markets to move within given periods of time. Now, the last thing to be aware of is our weekly economic calendar. We get this from fxstreet.com, and we filter by high impact news. We want to know which scheduled news reports are likely to create volatility in the markets that we trade. So today being Thursday, we had some news out at 2 a.m. Eastern that could have affected the British pound or British markets. Nothing else scheduled for today. Not to say that there won't be unexpected news reports, of course. So hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions, you can email me, Becky@tradewithufos.com, or the better place to go is tradewithufos.com/Becky, because from here, you've got loads of different resources and support that can help you. You can book one-on-one coaching if you'd like to. You can join the group coaching program. There are courses, there are apps. If you scroll down, you can track the trades that I place once we start using this, once that's all finalized. And you've also got a question and answer section as well. So lots of help from this place of the website. So today is Thursday, so I will see you again tomorrow for the market commentary then for Friday. Other than that, I wish you guys a great trading day ahead and see you soon. Bye-bye.